employers are not looking for just employees. They are looking for what? Achiever. They are looking for people who can contribute and add value to their organization. Someone who is hot in the eyes of an employer would be someone who makes others feel what? Important. When you want to sell, when you want to talk about your ability, your contributions, your past glory, right? You want to say it in such a way that it is to help the person, or rather let the person know that you can do the job and that you are good, right? Not to the extent that you make yourself so important and you kind of like making the person feel very threatened. Employers are not interested in reasons. Results is what you have done. What you have done, right? What you have achieved in the past should give me the reason why I should consider hiring you, right? And not because I've spent 30 years in the industry. So what? You spend 30 years in the industry means you cannot change. Your mindset is fixed. I spent 30 years in the industry and I've seen how this industry grew, right, from this stage to this stage. Therefore, I can add a lot of value to you by sharing with you my past experiences. Now that's different, right? So you got to change the language that you use to make sure that it is a benefit statement to the person who is listening to you, rather than just, oh, I spent 30 years. People stop there. The 30 years is important, okay? But what does the 30 years do for the employer? Articulate. You sell yourself, all right? Even in today's climate, right, where there's a war for talent, you still need to stand out. You need to sell yourself. To help you add value, right, in terms of your company research, and also more importantly, it shows to the organization that you're trying to apply a job in, right, that you can add value to them. You are ultimately serving an external customer. You also have this other guy called the internal customer. Prospective employee walks in and talks to me, right, and articulates very clearly, I know this is your customer, right? And for this role, right, I'm also serving the engineers, I'm serving the plant manager, I'm serving the system. I will be more impressed than the other person who just looked at the website. Okay, so you need to start thinking about this. So what is the value that the organization is creating for the customer? I think that's important. Now when you talk like that, right, then you don't come across as just very operational, very technical. You are really understanding what my company does, right? Coca-Cola, right? In fact, they don't call their factory just a factory or plant. They call it the happiness factory. Right? They believe that you only drink Coke when you're happy. You look at your job list, be aware what are the requirements, right? It's all listed there, right? What are the problems their customers face? Right? Or what are the expectations of their customers on their company? If I can come across as knowing how, or give you ideas on how I can get you to keep, help your organization keep customers, right? Similarly, right, being customer focused, all right, this is really more external. How can you contribute to a superior customer experience, right? What are the customers' expectation and how can you make it positive? Ask yourself this question. As you research, you ask yourself this question and you check on the internet to see whether you can find things, right? Talk to your friends, talk to your ex-colleagues, right? Or talk to people, right, who may have worked in those companies before. Finally, how can you be a believer, right? How can you really help to promote the organization? Because if you are an advocate, right, you believe in the company, right, then you can attract customers for the employer as well. Selling has a lot of focus on you meaning what? The other party. Right? Seeing benefits from the other party's perspective, right? So there's a lot of you. It's also two-way communication, right? Someone mentioned that two-way communication. So it's about asking, right? Finding the opportunity and the chance to ask other people, right, or ask the other party questions. It's about listening as well, right? Once you ask, you listen. It's two ways. What the other person needs. Okay, it's not just about what I need a job, right? It's not about me needing a job. It's about what can I do for you. That takes priority. Telling is a lot of reciting. We talk about stating our past experiences, our past credentials. So it's about there's a lot of statements, right? Typically one way, and it's about what I need. I need a job. Okay? It's not about what they need. So to summarize, it's really about making the interviewer your customer. Here is, remember, we're not there to tell. Because if you're there to tell, the resume can do the telling for you. You're there to sell. Selling includes, right, making them being excited. STAR stands for situation, all right, task, action, and the results. Okay, it's a methodology, a technique of interview sequence that they will use. Right. Let's say I'm applying for a sales job. They may ask you, so Evan, can you tell me a time when you won your company that you worked for in the past, right, managed to win a contract that's worth $1 million from the government? What they're trying to do, they want to see whether you have actually done it before. If you don't have, how? Alright? The textbook answer is don't tell lie. Because later on they ask you some more questions, right? The lobang will be jar. They next ask you, what was your action? So what do you do? Alright, so you won this $1 million account from IDA, right? Infocom Development Authority. So what caused you to win the $1 million? Oh, because I was the salesperson, I was in charge of the account. So, right, so you brag about it, okay? They'll ask you what's the result. So as a result of your action, what happened? So what was the result? Okay. What we call, sometimes also known as competency-based interview, right? Or behavioral-based interview, right? This is one technique that we use. They want to know whether you have, not whether you know how or not. Have you actually done it before? They don't just check on you on your achievement, they check on your failures as well. They ask you, tell me a time you had a conflict with a colleague. Right, I'm interviewing a fresh grad, right? Tell me a time you had a conflict with a project team member. What happened? What caused the conflict? So it doesn't mean that when they ask you for bad things, right? That's it, right? I'm given a black dark mark or a bad record, right? They are interested in knowing how you overcome. What are you going to do in the future? Did you learn from this experience? Between 30 to 60 seconds, alright, so it's about a minute. Focus on 3 P's. What are the 3 P's? Right, your previous experience. Okay? What are some portable or transferable skills? Especially if you're going into an industry that you've never worked in before, right? So can you highlight, right? So let's say you're looking for a hospitality job, for example, but you've never had any experience in hospitality. But you have had some experience working as just for example, right, as a receptionist somewhere. Is there some transferable skills? Yes, I love to meet people, right? So I enjoy interacting with people, and that's one of my strengths that I have. So that can be translated, right, to my hospitality opportunity. Then lastly, talk a little bit about, we want to know who you are, right? Your personal traits, all right, your passion, all right. I don't need to go into your hobbies and all that, right? But basically they want to know, what are you interested in, right? I like this job because, I really love interacting with people, right? So things like that, right? Your personal traits and passion. Make it impressive, make it memorable for them, all right? And if you need to practice. Practice. Next week, can I ask this question or not? Next week, don't ask the question, okay? Because those are HR executives, they may not know. Right? But you can rephrase it and say, what are the goals of the organization? That's okay. Right? So asking goals, right, shows that you are interested in wanting to play a part in helping the company achieve those goals. Next, this question does 2 things for you. First, it shows to the employer, the interviewer, that this person is very interested. He's interested in knowing, what are the key success attributes of a successful candidate. Next, it also tells you what employers are looking for. So in the event that you don't get this job, right, you will have walked away from this interview learning that there are these 3 things that employers are looking for when applying for this kind of job. This kind of questions, right, is a little bit more intimate, right? You may want to, this is possibly at the the second interview, all right, and it's really the person that you're reporting to, right, your reporting officer, right? Are there any specific challenges that the company would like this person who will join, right, solve in the first 6 months, or what are the expectations in the first 3 months? Okay. So you notice that the questions I ask always make the other person feel important or less important. Important, all right. This is especially if you know that it's an existing position and someone else has left, all right, or they resign, or they didn't get to keep the job. Okay, this is a question that I put at the last, all right, because it can be quite dangerous. Because sometimes they may tell you, right, okay, you may, I think based on your experience and based on what we assess, you may not get the job because you have this particular weakness. Okay. But for me, all right, I might just ask, because I really treat every conversation with the employer as a really to learn more about myself as well. So if he tells me that I have some weaknesses, right, it's good. I take this away. I prepare myself better for my next interview. Early. Okay, why must you be early? You need to freshen up. You want to, if you're like me, right, you sweat a lot, right? But you must be early, right? Be familiar with it. If you're too early, it's okay. Just sit around, wait around, find aircon place, wait, right? Be early. Research the company. I already mentioned. Make use of the 10 principles that I shared with you, right? How to add value. Don't just Google, right? Use those principles to help you to research the company. Okay, dress the part, all right? Overdressed is better than underdressed. Okay, all right? So dress the part. Someone said this to me before. Dress like who you want to be. If you want to be a manager, you dress like a manager. If you want to be a senior person, you dress like a senior person. Remember WIIFT. You heard of WIIFM? What's in it for me, right? Okay, but over here you got to turn it. What's in it for them? What can I do, right, to benefit them? What's in it for them? Right? What can I offer? Smile everywhere you go. Okay, I have seen people lose an opportunity or lose a job because they were nasty to the admin person, to the person who received them, to the receptionist. As simple as that. Okay, it has happened before. So don't make mistakes like this. Don't take risks like this. Okay. In the interview, if they ask, why you want to leave your job? My boss made me work very long hours. Right? Things like that. No, right? Never badmouth your current or your past employers. All right. Now this one is this is for your actual interview, right? So when you have your second interview with the recruiting manager, right, find a way to send a thank you note where possible. Okay. Now, do they give out do they give out name cards when they see you? Usually no. Okay. Right. So no name cards. How you find an email address? Call the company line, and then what is it? Yeah, right. As simple as that, right? Call the general hotline and say that I came for an interview, all right? I met with Mr. Edwin C. All right. I'd like to send him a thank you note. Can I have the email address? Right. So usually, will they give? They usually will give. If they don't give, I said sorry, we can't share with you the email information. Right. What's your follow-up question? Or what's your follow-up statement? Right? Here's what you do. I can understand that. Right? I appreciate that there's some confidentiality involved. Right? But I would still like to send him a thank you note. Right? If I'm going to send a note, right, who should I address it to? What is his position? Don't tell me the one so they cannot tell you. Right? Unlikely. Right? They most likely will tell, Edwin, right, he's the manager or he's the director. Then just follow up. What does this note do? It makes you stand up. As much as this thing has been preached long and so often, right? How many people actually do it? Very few. Very few. Okay? From my experience, interviewing prospective employees, less than 10% of the people actually send me a thank you note. So stand up, right? Send it to them.